What's going on, folks? So I'm super duper excited here. Fortis Ventus is back. They have a new song called Somnia and a new album in the works. So I'm just really, really excited. I thoroughly enjoyed their previous album, so I've been excited and anxious for them to be coming back. And here they are. They're back. This is their first single from the upcoming album. Looking really forward to this, hearing what they've been up to. So let's just jump on in here and give this a listen. Rangers, go. I was kind of surprised with how quickly it ended. I mean, it's 4 minutes long song, but it went by pretty quick. Yeah, it's interesting. I really like the orchestral elements. I thought the symphonics, the orchestrations and whatnot were really well done. I just loved the sound of it, the way it was arranged, the different elements like the string, the brass, and all that. I thought it really did a great job of, kind of setting the stage and creating the scene and or the world, and all that stuff. And I just really enjoyed that all the way through. It was quite impressive, and again, just the way it was arranged was lovely. Uh, One thing I do think is that the guitar gets a bit lost in the mix. I would have liked to have heard the guitar a bit more because there were some nice melodies that the guitar did and whatnot. For a lot of it's kind of just playing kind of uh, like a momentum kind of riff or just whatnot, keeping the kind of pace moving, along with like the drums and what have you, where the orchestrations I feel like really kind of direct the song, really kind of determine where it goes and how it's flowing and all that, which I've already said I really enjoyed the orchestrations a lot. I thought that was a really good way to just kind of drive the song and yeah, I mean, just again, set the stage. It was just very nice. But I do feel like, because you could hear the guitar, but like it felt like it was kind of faint. And for a song like this, I feel like when you have the orchestrations really sort of painting the picture, and that's what is kind of taking the listener through the song. If you're going to have guitar, I feel like having that nice kind of grounded sound of the guitar really helps create a nice dynamic with the sound. Whereas here, it just felt like the guitar was kind of muted. And if it was a bit more in the forefront of the mix, it was a little crunchier maybe or whatnot, it would have given the song a little bit more of an edge, like a little bit more of an energy, because there's nothing really that's like packs a punch that is really kind of I mean not like driving the song to an extent, because again, like I said, you have the orchestrations kind of dictating where the song goes and all of that good stuff. But while you have that, I think it's always good to have that almost opposite, like that grounding factor that again provides a bit of a edge to the song. Like to provide a bit more of that momentum to the song. And so I feel like that's just a bit lacking. Now, again, I know the guitar is there, but it just, I would like to hear it a bit more. I think that would bring an added energy or an added layer to the song that would just make it a bit more explosive. Instead of you're kind of hanging up here and stuff like that. And again, the guitar doesn't have to take over or anything like that. But just add that much needed, energy to the song. I just really think that would go a long way to rounding out the song and just providing that dose of energy to it. Because I wouldn't really say the song's like a ballad. So, and again, the guitar is already present. If it wasn't really there, and then maybe it could be seen as maybe a little bit more of like almost like a ballad or so. But I don't know, just the nature of this song, it doesn't quite feel like a ballad. So I just really think it needs that a little bit of that punch there, that explosiveness, maybe in the guitar riffs to just energize the song a little bit. And another thing too is the verses aren't too bad. I do think the chorus could be a little stronger melody wise, because the vocals are lovely. I mean, she has such a great voice. I always enjoy hearing just her vocals. Her range is very nice. Her delivery, the high notes that she can hit, the kind of operatic style. Like, I just love that. So she can really kind of carry a song based on her vocals alone. But I do feel like that the vocal melody in the chorus could have been a little bit stronger, because it it's just kind of there. It doesn't really grab you. And I think that's another thing too in the mix. It at times, not always, but at times it felt like the vocals were a smidge in the background instead of like in the forefront. And again, I just think that would go a long way to energize the song. 'Cause you have these wonderful orchestrations, but I think that the vocals need to be a bit more up in the mix to really kind of be in the forefront commanding the song. And then you have the guitars a bit more forward in the mix as well to bring a bit of power to it. And I just really think that would just again just bring that added oomph that the song desperately needs, instead of it just feeling like it's just kind of hanging in the air a little bit. So yeah, that's really kind of like my thoughts, my critiques, if you will, but then also, some things that I love, like again, the vocals, I just would like to hear them a bit more forward in the mix. So I guess ultimately it's kind of like a mix thing that I think some of the elements could be adjusted a bit. And then, the vocal melody in the chorus, I think, could be tweaked a little bit to be a little stronger instead of just kind of being there without really kind of capturing you. And, I always say, like, a chorus doesn't have to be like a super catchy, earworm kind of thing. That's not necessary. But here, I just feel like that there's nothing that really makes the chorus stand out or anything like that. It just feels like it's kind of there and it kind of passes you by, and then you kind of get back into the verses and all that good stuff. So there's no moment in the vocal melodies that really kind of stand out. Even like in the bridge, it felt a bit like brief, sort of. Maybe it would have been nice to have the vocals really kind of let loose and do some epic operatic stuff, really bring a lot of elements in there before going out with a bang, with like the final chorus and all that good stuff. So it's an interesting song, the way that it was kind of set up and whatnot. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, I'm super excited that Fortis Ventus is back. I'm very curious to hear what else they got. It's also kind of an interesting kind of first single for like the new album. It kind of it has an approach to it that's a bit almost like laid back. Even though the orchestrations are really cool and quite complex and whatnot, the overall feel of the song is a bit laid back. And usually you think the first single is going to be a bit more kind of in your face, sort of, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so interesting stuff. Again, I'm excited they're back. I'm very curious to hear y'all's thoughts on this song here. So let's talk about it in the comments down below. Did you enjoy the previous album they released, like how I did? Are you excited they have a new album coming? Again, let's discuss it, and I'll catch you all next time. Ranger out.